Persona 3 Reload is a complete remake of Atlus's 2006 JRPG Persona 3, and with the wild success of Persona 5 and the popularity of the many spin-off games, this remake is one of the most anticipated games of 2024 so far. And after sinking roughly 10 hours into the game, I think it's safe to say that Persona 3 Reload is a must-play this year. Okay, I'm going to admit this right off the bat. I've only played Persona 5, so all of my knowledge about this series is based off of that game. Okay, first impressions time. Persona 3 Reload without any real spoilers. You can play as a nameless protagonist who recently transferred to a new high school and joins a group of shadow hunters called Seas. The reason why they are hunting shadows is because they are linked to a horrifying phenomenon called the Dark Hour that turns people into coffins and causes people to have the apathy syndrome. Each character has their own psyche that is in the form of a persona that fights enemies by their side. It's like Pokemon, but not like Pokemon, if that makes sense. It's just so much more than that. Okay, hopefully I described that well without any real spoilers. To say this bluntly, Persona 3 Reload takes the 2006 version of the game and gives it a Persona 5 makeover, and it's so damn good. I still consider myself a newcomer to this series, and this game was so easy to jump in and familiarize myself with the features because Atlus throws loads of refresh mechanics into the game that are similar to the ones that are in Persona 5. Like I said in the beginning, this is rebuilt from the ground up, so the game has a similar look and feel to Persona 5, which looks amazing. I mean, look at the screenshots. Atlus really did a great job to revitalize the overall look of the game. I love how the school halls are full of students chatting and walking around. It makes me feel like I'm living in an anime. Persona 5 made me feel that way too. However, even though Persona 3 is given a Persona 5 touch-up, it still feels like a brand new game. Now, this game does have similarities in terms of the story and characters. There's you, the unnamed protagonist, a female support character, and another rambunctious, loudmouth male support character, which is the same theme in Persona 5. Gameplay-wise, the game takes a while to introduce you to its daily activity system, and it slowly peels back all the layers that the game has to offer. And to new players, this might be very overwhelming at first, but trust me, building relationships, joining clubs, getting a job, and fighting in Tartarus will help you so much in Persona 3 Reload. It's honestly one of the best and rewarding gameplay loops. Speaking of Tartarus, it's a massive tower that only appears during the Dark Hour, and it seems to have the answers your group is looking for. And this is where you'll be fighting 90% of the time. Tartarus will also change each time that you enter it, so it's kind of like a roguelite in a way. Most of the story's progression is made by progressing through Tartarus, and players can also re-explore floors to farm items and hone their skills. It's all part of the gameplay loop of Persona 3. Combat-wise, Persona 3 Reload is a turn-based JRPG with a heart set on tactics and smart usage of personas. Persona has a really cool way of making turn-based combat so stylish and full of flair. Even if you aren't into this kind of combat, maybe the way that the game handles it might suit you better. Many massive Persona fans that I've talked to say that this game has the best story, and I'm already starting to see that as I progress through the game. It's so good and keeps me wanting to know what happens next, and that's really big for me in video games. So many games nowadays have bland stories that are similar, but Persona 3 and 5 have really impressed me and interested me in their stories and dark themes. The only drawback I can point out for Persona 3 Reload is that sometimes the game tends to drag out tutorials and take a while to unravel its full potential. I mean, it was at the 8-hour mark when the game decided to explain to me how I can run away in combat. That's a pretty standard feature when it comes to turn-based combat. In addition, some players are reporting slowdowns and loss of frames when playing. I personally haven't ran into these issues, but it is something to keep in mind. Persona 3 Reload is a must-play game in 2024. If you have Xbox Game Pass, then I highly recommend you give it a go. You almost don't have an excuse not to. My only criticism of the game is that it may turn off some newcomers because the game takes a while to get the wheels turning, but when it's up and running, it's a fantastic experience. Thank you guys for listening to my first impressions of Persona 3 Reload on the Seoul Dojo, where we play the game a little and give you guys our opinion. My name is Curtis with the Seoul Dojo Gaming Channel. You can follow me on X at Cali from the Dojo, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. I will check you guys later, alright? Peace.